Peace and greetings. Presenting the Network of Awareness podcast radio station, providing in-depth information on society and culture in America and abroad, bringing you truth messages of inspiration, keen insight, reputable interviews, and so much more. So now, for the truth you've been waiting for, your host of the Network of Awareness podcast, ORRA, the informationalist.
Nothing like this. Stage screen radio
Please just tell me what's happening to me in plain English without the mumbo jumbo.
You are now tuned in to the Network of Awareness.
All right, peace and greetings, folks. This is ORRA the Informationalist, and I'm coming to you on this wonderful Monday afternoon or early evening for some of y'all. This is a pre-recorded show, and I want to welcome you to Most High Mondays on the Network of Awareness. And I'm using my new cover logo for my podcast. Sometimes you're going to see me use the TV logo, which is also to my splash video to my Roku channel. Now, my Roku channel is coming out. I'm putting a lot of content and taking my time and putting it together. Eventually, I'll go on to Apple TV, iOS, and Android, and of course, Fire Stick. But I will start out with Roku. And for those that want to subscribe, I'm going to be doing certain promotions for that, but it will be $6.99 a month. And it's going to be action-packed with exclusive episodes and interviews that I do on my show for the TV, as well as music videos and other content as far as short films, Emotions in Motion, which will be kinetic poetry, as well as other things that I'll be coming up with cartoons and stuff. I'm doing a lot of this by myself, but eventually I'm going to recruit other people to join the team. Now, we do have other podcasters. We have the Golden Apple podcast. We also have, and that's with Billy Izzy. We have 101 with Aksakai, and we might have another podcaster joining. It's not solidified yet, but we'll see what happens. And it's going to be it's another great show added on to the family. Passion Pursues Purpose. I'm putting it on the back burner. But if you want to download the shows, I believe there's 7 to 8 episodes on that particular show, on that podcast. I will be getting back to it. The main focal point right now is for the Network of Awareness. So, with that being said, folks, I want to welcome you to today's show. And the beautiful thing here is that we have a situation where I live out here in Florida, in the Tampa Bay area. And I'm noticing a lot of Halloween like just, I don't know what you want to call it, but Halloween decorations in the houses and stuff like that. And it's just so interesting because it's not, I mean, it's getting close to Halloween to some degree, I guess, but they take Halloween so serious out here. And that's why I decided to name this episode 81, which is Nothing to Be Happy About Halloween. There's nothing to be happy about, right? Nothing happy about Halloween. It is a very demonic holiday. It is a holiday that is strictly to serve evil, wickedness, and every other vile thing that you could think of. But people think that it's fun because they get to dress up in costumes. But in reality, if you think about it, ever since the beginning of 2020, we've all been wearing costumes from time to time on our faces, right? You know what I'm talking about. And By the way, I hope some of you are going to be enjoying those blasts from the past episodes. The one that I'm putting out on social media, on TikTok, Instagram, and Twitter is the Shit Show, which was a show that I did in season 2. It was episode 122. And I'm grateful to say, people, without your love and support and just your overall enthusiasm and interest in my content and shows, I wouldn't be where I'm at. I'm reaching 400 shows. And we're about to go to season 5. So I just want to say thank you again. I'm super grateful. I'm grateful to see these numbers of downloads that are steadily increasing. And I say all praises to the Most High, because I know that the Most High is in control of everything. And that the energy we put out and the way these things are set up is how we are rewarded. So don't ever let somebody tell you that you can't do something or make you think that it sucks, because when they're telling you that what you're doing sucks, it's because it's really that good. And they're just hating because they can't do it like you. And I've experienced that a lot lately by certain people that try to, demonize my platform, but they only made me stronger and better. And those that know real will recognize real. You can't fake real. Either you are or you're not. You see in my eyes? Still got light in my eyes, people. There's a reason for that. And I'm not saying that to be egotistical, to say that I'm better than anybody, because I'm really not. I like to think that I'm a spiritual being just like anybody else having a physical experience. So we're all in this together. But the reason I say I still got light in my eyes is because I'm really about developing and building the fruits of the Spirit with the gifts that the Most High has given me. Now, back to the topic at hand. This thing with Halloween out here, and I don't know if some of you experience in your state. If you do, shoot a review. Let me know after this, listen to this episode. But people are so into Halloween, man. I mean, it's a little insane. And maybe it's because I'm not. And I haven't been for quite a long time, to be honest with you. I haven't been a Halloween goer for very long. But I would say up until about 15, 14, maybe even sooner than that, 13, 12. It's the last time I really kind of, embraced the holiday. After that, it was just more of like, oh, it's Halloween, let's go to a party, but I ain't dressing up. I'm just going to a party to chill out. I think one time I put face paint when I was 18 years old, and that was the last time. But what I wanted to do is I wanted to read some of the origins, because it's a very demonic holiday, people. I can't stress that enough. And I just want to look something up here in regards to the origins of Halloween, because it goes back into several centuries, and it's really the devil's kind of like celebration day. It's the day of celebration of wickedness, death, Satan. That movie with Brandon Lee showed you a lot about Devil's Night, which is Halloween. The Crow. If you haven't seen that movie, The Crow, that's where they actually killed Brandon Lee, which is supposedly an accident, allegedly. But the origins of Halloween, so many things that, you can read about. But I'm just going to pull up a couple of things here just so that we can get a better understanding of this, because I'm not looking forward to this holiday. And the reason I'm doing this episode is because I'm warning you, brothers and sisters, the ones that are doing positive things and are living an upright lifestyle, be very careful with who you share your energy with up to this holiday, especially on this day. And I definitely suggest to never live in fear, but I would suggest to not go out. I don't go out on Halloween because I already know, just like my uncle Ralphie always says, who goes to sleep very early every day. What does he say? Nothing ever good happens after 10 p.m. And we used to joke about it when we was young, even into our older years, you know. But as I'm about to hit 45 years old, my uncle couldn't be closer to the truth than what he said. I mean, it's really real. There's a lot of things that are not good that happen after 10 p.m. So Halloween is a holiday celebrated each year on October 31st. And it will occur again on this Monday, October 31st of the year 2022. Now, the tradition originated with the ancient Celtic festival of Samhain. Okay, now let's look up Samhain because there's so many origins. Now, Samhain is what you see with the Vikings and these practices where they do these blood rituals, and it's very similar to Wicca, which is a witchcraft. Now, it says here that Samhain is a pagan religious festival originating from ancient Celtic or Celtic spiritual tradition. In modern times, Samhain, a Gaelic word pronounced Samhain, Samhain, is usually celebrated from October 31st to November, 1st, to welcome in the harvest and usher in the dark half of the year. Okay, so this is welcoming, I guess, to a certain degree, winter, right? But it says the celebrants believe that the barriers between the physical world and the spirit world will break down during Samhain, allowing more interaction between humans and denizens of other worlds. Woo! The code word demons, jinns, the fallen ones. So this is when, just keep in mind that when you're practicing these pagan holidays are meant to bring in other energies, which portals are being purposefully opened by these dark energies. So when you have people celebrating in a tradition that can stir up that energy field, then it's just going to make it more intensified for those portals and dimensional holes and wormholes to keep opening to allow these entities in. So that's why I say it's not good to celebrate, let alone be outside when these paganistic traditions and activities are being conducted. Now, it also says that all the Celtic Festival Samhain, where people would light bonfires and wear costumes to ward off ghosts. In the 8th century, Pope Gregory III designated November 1st as a time to honor All Saints. Soon, All Saints Day incorporated some of the traditions of Samhain. Now, the evening before, known as All Hallows Eve, and later Halloween, over time, Halloween evolved into a day of activities like trick or treating, carving jack-o'-lanterns, festive gatherings, donning costumes, and eating treats. Woo! And let's also keep this in mind that a lot of witches perform rituals and spells during this time. Keep that in mind because it's very important. It's not something to take lightly. There's a woman that has a sign that says she's a witch on her gate, and she has these like little dogs. There's about 7 or 6 of them, and they're little mean little nasty son of a beast. But they, you know, my dog is big. My dog is a king boxer mixed with pit bull, and he's built like no other, solid like a rock. And he always wants to go over there, which is interesting because he's peaceful. But with those little dogs, he always wants to kind of flex on them. And of course, I have to pull him away. But she has a sign saying she's a witch. And lo and behold, as soon as October 1st hit, Her house is fully decorated with all the webbing, the witch costumes, the goose, the goblins, you name it. She's got it on her front yard, like many other people. So let's take a dive into the ancient origins of Halloween, or Hallows Eve. Halloween's origins date back to the ancient Celtic festival of Samhain. The Celts, who lived 2,000 years ago, mostly in the area that is now known as Ireland, the United Kingdom. Shout outs to all my people in Ireland, United Kingdom, and in northern France. Got a lot of listeners out there. Thank you for all your love and support. Celebrated their new year on November 1st. Okay. So this is 2,000 years ago. This day marked the end of summer and the harvest and the beginning of the dark, cold winter, at a time of the year that was often associated with human death. Hey, human death. What's so happy to be about human death? Well, the Celts believed that on the night before the new year, the boundary between the worlds of the living and the dead became blurred. On the night of October 31st, the celebrated Samhain, when it was believed that the ghost of the dead returned to earth. People, be very careful this Halloween because things are intensifying. In addition to causing trouble and damaging crops, Celts thought that the presence of the otherworldly spirits made it easier for the Druids or Celt priests to make predictions about the future. For a people entirely dependent on the volatile natural world, these prophecies were an important source of comfort during the long, dark winter. Now, to commemorate the event, Druids built huge sacred bonfires where the people gathered to burn crops and animals as sacrifices to the Celt deities. During the celebration, the Celts wore costumes typically consisting of animal heads and skins and attempted to tell each other fortunes. Doesn't it sound like psychics when you hear that, right? And you think about the whole psychic tarot card reading industry that is booming right now? Because people want answers outside of themselves instead of looking from within. And when you start to open up those types of portals and dimensions, you're allowing things to come into your life. So be very careful with that white witchcraft magic. I would say don't practice it at all, because you're going to welcome things into your life that you're not ready for and that you're not ready to handle spiritually. Now, it says to commemorate the event, Druids built huge sacred bonfires where the people gathered to burn crops and animals, sacrificing to the Celtic deities. During the celebration, the Celts wore costumes typically consisting of animal heads and skins, and attempted to tell each other fortunes. When the celebration was over, they relit their hearth fires, which they had extinguished earlier that evening, from the sacred bonfire to help protect them during the coming winter. Now, it says, did you know 1/4 of all the candy sold annually in the U.S. is purchased for Halloween? So the candy industry, you're going to start seeing, if you haven't already, this is where the candy industry heavily promotes and markets their brand. Heavy. You see it all over television, internet, everywhere. Be aware of that, because that is the science. That is the method, the way they socially engineer us and condition us to believe that this is our way of life. When all we are doing, when we are in practice of this, we are practicing demonic rituals without even being consciously aware of it. But in the subconscious, it's receiving everything. So by 43 AD, the Roman Empire had conquered the majority of Celtic territory. In the course of the 400 years that they ruled the Celtic lands, 2 festivals of Roman origin were combined with traditional Celtic celebrations